All right, everybody. Welcome to the first part of our UFC Fight Island 8 post-fight coverage here on MMAfighting.com. We'll be streaming the UFC Fight Island 8 press conference. We'll be certainly hearing from the winner, Michael Chiesa, who just put on a dominant performance, unanimous decision win over Neil Magny in the main event. That is 4 wins in a row. And then he got on the microphone and he said, quote, "Election is over, Colby Covington. Your shtick is done. I want you next, boy." So there you go. Chiesa doubling down on the call-out of Colby Covington after a trio of 49-46 scorecards. I am Mike Heck, everybody, being joined by Casey Leiden and the shadow of another individual, which became the background of the post-fight press conference. So, Casey, right off the bat, your thoughts on Chiesa's performance in his 4th consecutive win?
If you picked Chiesa to win this fight, I think this is kind of how you thought it would happen. Yeah, no major surprises. That was no shockers. That's how we thought. I think we thought Chiesa had the grappling and wrestling advantage. We knew the cardio advantage would probably go to Magny, and it looked like Magny had the cardio advantage a little bit, but for the most part, the wrestling was enough to win the fight, and pretty dominantly from Mr. Chiesa. And we have a spy here.
There's Jose Young. You ever see Ace Ventura when he does that close up, like when he's in the dolphin tank? That's what Jose looks like right now. What's up, buddy?
The backlighting is throwing off my camera, so I'm trying to block out this.
It's trying to like sneak through your fingertips. All right. Well, I mean, welcome, Jose. I expect we will hear from Michael Chiesa. I'm not sure if we'll hear from Dana White. Hopefully we do, but
we don't think so, considering tomorrow we have him at the big press conference. And it's like 24 hours, or like it's less than 24 hours from now. Like that, we're gonna have him at a press conference. So we all agree we're probably not gonna get Dana White, but unless he really has something to say, given what else happened in the world today, I highly doubt it.
All right, so get your questions ready. We're waiting on Michael Chiesa. I would say we probably have like 10, 15 minutes before he shows up if we're just waiting on him. So if you guys want to talk about the card, feel free. Some of the good performances. Oh, by the way, Casey, let's do the predictions for the bonuses here. What do we think?
Yeah. Let me see if I can remember all the fights on this card. Okay, bonuses. Ike, he'll get a. Oh no, this one's pretty easy, I think. Wally and Ike for performance and fight of the night. And fight of the year contender, Davis versus Jones.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it'll win fight of the year, but at the end of the year, I would like to put that in the honorable mention because that was an amazing fight. Mike Davis versus Mason Jones, and and I would give performance to Warley for busting my man's ribs up, and Ike for getting his first win in the UFC.
Yeah, I think Umar Nurmagomedov might get might just be kind of on the hook. I think he had it until the Warley Alves finish. Yeah, but he's definitely in the running. I actually throughout the night I'm like, well, you're trying to get Habib back. You're trying to get in his good graces. Let's give his cousin 50 G's. Maybe they give him. Maybe they give 3 bonuses.
Habib's next. If Habib fights again, he'll be making, let's just call it $20 million conservative. I don't think $50,000 to his cousin is going to make the biggest difference, but as a nice gesture. So.
Yes. And I want to shout out Manon Fiorot too. Good God, she looked phenomenal, man. There you go. Right as I say it, Scott McCrae comes in. Manon Fiorot was phenomenal. Good God Almighty, what a start! I picked the last thing I said before we went off the air in the Q&A was I'm picking Victoria Leonardo. And then I watched the first 2 minutes of the fight. I'm like, oh boy, was that a bad pick?
I thought
immediately Victoria's going to send her right up against the cage and take her down and try to beat her up. But she tried to stay in space. I was like, what is happening right now? And she paid the price.
I think as soon as her first braid came out, it was over. Poor Leonardo. Like she would get hit every time she ate a kick or a punch. Her braids would get bigger and everything would just go. I was like, oh man, she's having a bad night. But how do you say her name? I thought we were going to say that young lady's name again. How do you say it? How do you say her name?
Fiorot.
Fierro?
I think it's Fioro.
How do you say her first name? You know?
Manon.
Manon Fierro. Okay, Manon Fierro. Hey, she looked
Oscar.
Oh, Oscar.
Hi, Oscar.
Now, ask Oscar, how's it living the Mac life?
Casey has a question for you. He wants to know what's it like to live the Mac life. Oh, can you hear Oscar?
No.
I heard him say the Mac life at the very end.
He says they call it the Mac life, not the Mac job.
Ah.
Touche. I'm loving the vest suit coat combination.
Three-piece suit because he got his one-on-one with Connor today.
Oh, how did that happen? do we just like slide into his DMs like, hello, Mr. McGregor, I'm with MMA Fighting. Would you please talk to us? Is that how it works?
Pretty much.
No, okay. Well.
Nope. I can attest to you that does not work, especially in 2021. That's why you haven't seen him on What the Heck. That's for sure. I've tried, but they're like, who is this guy? But good stuff right there. Great performance by Chiesa. Do you think he has anything close to the cardio he needs to fight Colby? Interesting question, but I think that was Casey. I feel like that was the biggest question heading into this fight was, can Chiesa's cardio hold up with a guy like Neil Magny, who's just pressure, and it seemed like it held up pretty darn good today.
Oh yeah, he did great, and I think he did great as long as, especially when Chiesa can kind of be where he was comfortable, which is usually the wrestling and the grappling. The stand up, looked like it was a little bit more laboring for Chiesa, but Magny didn't have enough of a advantage striking to really to use that against Chiesa. But I want to see Chiesa Colby. That sounds fine to me. Colby won't take it because I think Colby's just looking for that money fight. Yeah, I would pick Colby over Chiesa right now, but I think it's a very competitive fight, and yeah, I would love to see it.
Do you think that fight would be 95% on the feet?
If Colby feels he has a significant advantage on the feet, then yes, I would say so. If that's Colby's game plan to keep it on his feet, yes. For Chiesa, I think he wins by taking it to the ground and eventually submitting Colby. But yeah, you never know. It's MMA.
Yeah, the wrestling exchange between those two guys would be a lot of fun. Them battling against the fence would be really interesting.
I love it too because they have such different frames. They both have wrestling game. They both have a wrestling game plan, but their frames are so different. Their wrestling is so different. So it'd be fun to watch.
Did Chiesa's stock? Because I know that was a big thing we talked about on the Q&A was where these guys go and where they stand in this division. Do you think his stock rose a considerable amount after that performance?
Yes, in name value for sure. He's gonna be the same rank. I don't see any reason why he goes up the rankings, or anything for the UFC. But just as far as the fans getting used to seeing Chiesa at the top of the card, yeah, in that sense, yeah, definitely his stock goes up. I mean, it can't go down. Oh, wait, nothing happened in that fight that would suggest it would go down. And if if Dana just, what's gonna help him the most, and I don't think it's gonna happen today. If Dana came out here and sat down and just said, "Oh my God, what an amazing performance from Michael Chiesa," if they really want to push the tough, he won tough, correct?
Yep.
Chiesa, yeah. If they want to push that and everything, that angle is really going to help him actually being a tough champ. So because they want to push those guys. Oh, sorry, I had you turn down a little
bit. He won the hardest season of Tough of all the seasons. That was the live season, so it was longer. So they have
you're right.
They had to spend more time. Who did he beat?
I like Quinta, right?
Ike Villanueva?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
That was the crew's favorite one. So that was like how many episodes? That was such a long season, like 13 or 14 episodes.
I heard, from everyone I talked to who worked on that show, production-wise, they said it was just a nightmare. and that's why they never
John
did it
Anik
again.
loved that. John Anik loved it. That was like he was the host. He loved it.
I wonder if he would love it now. I wonder if this position. I'll be interested if he would want to be down for that again.
They had a lot of good fighters on that, if I remember.
Yeah, Joe Lozon was on that one. I remember watching that season.
Joe Lozon was on.
Oh no, he wasn't on that one. Never mind. I'm all confused. There's somebody. Oh, Joe Proctor. It was Joe Proctor. Proctor. He was another Boston guy. That's who it was. It was a Joe from Massachusetts. This was the wrong one.
Close enough.
Drew Dober.
Mason Jones
got eliminated.
That's right. I think there's somebody else too. I forget. There's another pretty interesting name. That might have been a different season.
55ers. They're all 55ers. I'm sure that's probably two other names that
the season team favor was Ali Quinta, Cristiano Marcelo, Darren Cruikshanks, Joe Proctor, Chiesa, John Coffer, Andy Ogle, and Chris Saunders. That's a lot of UFC fights in there. And the team favor said Justin Lawrence, Aaron Cecilia, Miles Jury, Mike Rio, James Vick, Vince Pichel, Chris Tickle, and Jeremy Larson.
How would you guys rate the broadcast team performance?
I would say this. DC is great. Like DC, when he called, I think, the Ricky Simone fight, he was great at it. He was on point. There are so many dang fights on this card, and DC has such a high level of energy. It's basically he can't keep up that energy and focus for 14 fights. So I felt like there were a few in the middle fights. I felt like he was getting a bit loopy and drifting a bit and not actually watching the fights too much, which is understandable. There's just too many fights for it. I mean, imagine that you at home just staring at every fight and can't leave for commercial breaks, and you're just describing everything you're seeing for what the first fight was at 6 o'clock.
They can walk away during commercials.
Well, no, not during commercials. Well, yeah, I mean they're running to take a piss, but it's not like they're going. I mean, everything's about the fight, you know. Even like in between rounds, you know, we can walk away, we can check our phones, and these guys are like, it's just so hard to keep focused for 6+ hours straight. So I get they kind of drift off, but when DC is on, he's very on. But I just wish these guys didn't have this many fights to call because they just kind of drift. But like almost every show, it starts out really well, the middle gets kind of weird, but then they end the show well because again, I think they get that third boost of energy. So, but no, good show, good performance, and good performance from the announcers, I guess, if you're asking.
John Gooden is excellent. That guy is really, really good at his job. Really good at his job.
Everything's new combos. Was this a new desk? Gooden, DC, and Felder?
It was supposed to be Dan Hardy today.
Oh, what happened? Oh, something? Oh, okay. Something happened. All right. I did. All right.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
There were times for sure where I felt like DC and Felder were like vying for a position. Like they were just vying to get their stuff in, as the pro wrestling people say.
Yeah.
They were stepping over each other quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. And it was very noticeable. But other than that, I didn't have an issue with the team. I thought they did a good job.
I'm gonna give a lot of leeway because it's 14 fights, and they have to call the main event with the same enthusiasm as they call the first fight of the night. So, like, yeah. So no, it was fine.
Yeah, again, and like you said, 6.5 hours of calling fights. Is not easy to do.
Very tough. Wait, so is Anik coming in for the pay-per-view? Do you know?
Yeah, he's still there.
Oh, he's still there. Okay, they just get night. They just get night. Rest his voice. That's how hard it is. Anik is there, and yet they still have to bring in another announcer.
Anik said if you watch, well, actually, I was the one that streamed and cut all those up. But when they did the Talent Media Day, he said this was going to be the hardest week of his UFC career because he was doing desk, or he was commentary, and then desk, and then commentary. So he had to get in the mode to commentate and then rapidly switch over to desk duty. But while doing desk duty, he's still having to prepare for UFC 257 in 2 days. So he basically had the desk duty sandwiched between commentary duty while also trying to research all the fighters on 3 different cards.
It is a tough job. It is a very tough job. John is actually on the UFC post show right now. Okay, so John's still working. He's just not. Okay, yeah.
He just didn't do commentary.
Man, give the man a night off. Let him just sit in the back, just watch fights like a fan.
And Brett Okamoto has to do backstage interviews for all of them because Laura and Megan aren't here.
I know Laura's still in the States, right? She's not coming out there at all, right?
No, I don't think Megan is either.
Oh,
they were scrambling.
Oh, Megan's not there either. She's not there at all. Oh.
Nope. So they were scrambling.
Oh.
And then Farah is doing like UFC Arabia.
All right, man.
So it's been a whirlwind over here for the ESPN UFC crew.
I'm sure that. Do we know why Megan's not there? Is that public knowledge? Oh. Okay.
Angela Hill on Twitter. Yeah, look at Angela Hill's Twitter, and that'll give you.
Oh man.
The Rona.
Got the Rona.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know. Does she have it, or was she just in contact?
I don't know.
Yeah, might have been enough to. Either way, yeah.
COVID related.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, dang it. Rona. Get out of our lives.
I know, right?
Get out of our lives. Dang it, man. All right, let me go to some questions. While we are still waiting for Michael Chiesa and hopefully UFC President Dana White.
Let's see. Still is high on Sumaderji. Different performance from his last fight.
Yeah, I definitely am.
Absolutely.
That's three of us.
Yeah. I didn't listen to the entire post-fight scrum, Jose, but did he talk about anything about, is he staying at 25? Is he growing out of that or anything?
No, he said 135 will be his weight class.
Okay, so this will be his last fight at Flyweight, most likely?
Well, most likely. He said the big, what really affected him was the quick turnaround. It was the quick turnaround, the weight cut, the back-to-back weight cuts, and had his opponent game plan perfectly for him. So he said it was like really one of the first times like he fought an opponent that was prepared, like knew what was coming, and so he really had to make adjustments on the fly. So he's like, this was an incredibly hard fight.
He looked great, and I thought how do you say his opponent's name? Adashev. I thought Adashev actually looked really good in the loss too.
He did.
It was one of those like he lost, but I want to see him fight again. It wasn't one of those guys like, all right, well I'm done, whatever. But Adashev looked great also. But is Sumajari, is it one name or is Su like the name?
So I'm gonna show you. So you can't see it, but let me see if I can show it on the screen. Can you see it?
Not really.
Nope.
I'll take your word for it though. Wait,
How about that?
Hold on. Wait. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, one name.
One name. Okay. Hey, it worked.
It was one on the broadcast too. So
yeah, I was just double checking. Okay. So Sumajari, it's just his name, like Madonna. Just one thing.
Maderji, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Who is the? Yeah, there's another fighter on the a bantamweight that was the same, right? Who did the guy that Casey Kenny beat before he beat Nathaniel Wood?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I gotta look it up. It's just gonna drive me bananas as we look for the next question. Then I'm just gonna shout it out of nowhere. There you go. What was it? Oh, hi, Alatang Haley. That's who it was.
Oh yeah.
Sandy Fan, Matt Schnell is going to be a problem. Matt Schnell looked awesome tonight. That dude looked really, really good. I thought I have to go back and watch it. I thought Nam landed the bigger shots in the first round. Obviously, Schnell landed more. And I think if memory serves me correctly, Nam may have outlanded Schnell in the second round, and it was very close in the third. But, man, Schnell was piecing him up. The quickness was on full display, and the patience of Matt Schnell, because that was one of the things I was worried about. Like, can Tyson Nam draw him into a brawl, into a firefight? And if that was the case, advantage Tyson Nam all day. But man, Schnell's patience. He looks like a different guy out there. He looked great.
Schnell won that fight a lot like Max Holloway beat Cater in the sense that, not the same way, but in the sense that in MMA, often volume wins. And Matt Schnell just had more volume and landed more. And Tyson, even though he looked Nam had the harder shots, he just didn't have enough volume. And I felt that was the difference. I mean, it was a close fight too. It was a split decision. And according to MMA decisions, I think a couple of journalists did have it for Nam too. So Schnell has always been a problem. He's not going to be a problem. He is a problem. He has been a problem. And it was a good win. And even once again, Nam with the loss looked good. He didn't look bad on the loss. It's just Schnell was the volume one tonight.
He said he was going to call Mick Maynard on the phone and tell him who he wants next. He didn't want to reveal. So, but don't worry, me and AK will talk all about it on to the next one. We'll give
Matt Schnell, come on. What is that about? I want.
Oh man.
Uh-oh. Well,
we have performance bonuses.
Go for it.
Poor Ike Villanueva.
What? He didn't get nothing?
No bonus.
Oh man, he even did.
Magomedov and Worley Alves got the bonuses.
Oh man.
Wow.
Dude, Nurmagomedov was the biggest favorite in the card, right?
He's a minus 500.
He did it. He just did what he was supposed to do. Oh man, poor Ike.
And fight of the night. I mean, come on. We already know.
Okay. Yeah. So fight of the night.
That's disappointing. Ike was very gung ho on treating his wife to some fun with the bonus if he won.
Man, what a bummer.
Ike
even got in the cage and said, "This is the best company in the world." It's like, oh man, then, what a bummer.
Was I right? Do you think I was right? This is a subtle little move from the UFC to say, Habib, we even treat your family well.
Politics.
Come on back for one more, buddy.
You hear all those fighters like, all the politics and prize fighting. Yeah, there we go. Poor Ike. He even did this Boomhauer impression, you know.
That would have been the highlight of the broadcast right there. Was Paul Felder doing the?
In the middle of it.
That's right.
What
He
happened?
dropped. Paul Felder
dropped an F-bomb after his Boomhauer impression.
Oh, he did? I didn't.
Yeah, so he did the Boomhauer impression, then he goes, "Effing perfect." I was like,
I missed that because I think I was so into the impression. I was just like,
so
I didn't even hear that part. Oh man, that's hilarious.
I even asked,
perfect.
I go, effing perfect. I was like, God, jeez, man. I even asked Ike. I go, Ike, do you watch King of the Hill? And he goes, yeah. I go, well, Paul Felder just did an impression of Boomhauer, and he immediately got it and just was dying. It was funny. He's a funny cat, man.
No, he's a great personality. He really is. Whenever fighters talk about what they're gonna do with the bonus before they get the bonus, or hey Dane, I need the bonus, or all this stuff, I was like, oh, they never get it. like
Ike's one of the real good guys too. He is such a good guy. I've been interviewing him since the regional scene,
you should get him on What the Heck.
I could do that. It's pretty. Yeah. I actually I texted one of the members of his team and I said, man, I got to get on that Ike Villanueva diet because he's looking real good. He looked skinny. He looked like he could go to 185. I know he's fought at 85 before, but he looked like a whole different guy. So I think we can make that happen. I think we can get his team member of his team said, get the svelte one on What the Heck.
What is his day job? Do you know his day job by chance? Because he talked about going back to work Monday.
Yeah, I missed it. I forgot.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering if
this was in the middle. It was in the middle of our internet issues, so I got distracted.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious.
If you go into the archives of What the Heck, when I interviewed Ike Villanueva before his UFC debut, he talked all about it. I forget exactly what he does. But he names the name of the company, his bosses, literally everything he does on a day-to-day basis. So if you want to go back into the archives and find that before he fought Chase Sherman, he talks all about it. That dude's road to the UFC is unbelievable. Really happy for that guy because he never thought he'd get there. Like he had hope, but he just at points he was just like, it's just not going to happen. And he got there, and now he gets a big win. So we'll see what we could do with it. But he's taking it very seriously. He's getting better, and now he's on the board. So good on him.
That's good because, like, I mean, I've never met the dude, obviously, but like, I like the dude. I like his energy. I don't think I'm gonna see him on a pay-per-view main card, number one contender fight anytime soon or anything like that. But I'm just happy dudes like this just can. No, this is something he's gonna have this story for the rest of his life. Like I'm just a dude that fights, in the regional circuit. Where's he from? Is he from Texas? Where's he from?
Yeah, he's from Texas.
Okay, yeah.
We're outside of Houston.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So just finding regional shows, and just probably fighting for $1,000. So he makes a nice chunk of change here. So good on him. Yeah, good on him. I wish after your third fight in the UFC, you don't have to have a day job, but we're not there yet, I guess.
I think even if he made like real high level UFC money, I think he would stay there. Like he's told me that.
Oh, he's
the relationship. They're so supportive of him. Like when he gets home, like he'll show up to work like a normal day, and they'll have like a big party for him. They have like one of those rallies like you would have in high school before a football game.
Oh,
they always
cool.
have like one of those rallies for him at work, like before he has a fight. It's pretty crazy.
Looks like I think people might show up soon.
Okay.
You got movement.
Yeah, UFC,
Perhaps.
UFC social team setting up their IG stream.
We'll answer this, but keep those questions coming and save them, vault them, and get on the other side. We're going to answer all the questions. What's next for Roxanne Modafferi? Should retirement be in the talks, or does she still have it in her? Casey, I'll let you go first on this one.
A great performance from Vivi. I thought Roxy just looked really flat tonight. I thought it was a great performance from Vivi, and I thought it was a really bad performance from Roxy. I thought her striking looked really limited in the sense that she was just headhunting, just 1, 2, 3s. She didn't really level change enough. I was actually kind of disappointed of her performance, other than her just being super tough. But if we're talking about how tough you are, that means you got your ass kicked. But retirement talks, no, absolutely not. She lost to a very, very good fighter. That's all that happened. And
Young fighter.
I'm sorry?
Young fighter.
Yeah, a young fighter. And she just, she lost. And you can't, Roxy. We'll have a couple more fights from Roxy, and I'm sure the UFC is going to use her more as kind of that gatekeeper to the top 10. So like you have to beat Roxy if you want to fight the elite flyweights. And unfortunately for Roxy, I think though this loss does kind of bump her out of that elite status. I think now she's kind of a veteran flyweight, unfortunately, but still UFC worthy for sure.
If Jessica comes up short to JoJo.
That'll be a fun.
They would be right there. They'd be right next to each other in the rankings. Right now, JoJo's the only one between them.
I would,
6, 7, 8.
If I was a matchmaker, I would use Roxy, basically more people way behind Roxy, and to see if to get. We know how good Jessica I is. We know how good Roxy is. I would rather see those two women. If I loses, to fight women kind of behind them in line to find out how good. Say how good the lady that won in the first fight of the night, Ferrero, like Ferrero versus Roxy, things like that. I think that's what Roxy's position is.
What if they try to get Cynthia back on track?
Oh, Calvillo.
She's coming off a bat. She got dominated by Catlin.
Oh yeah, wait, who got Cynthia lost to Caitlin? Caitlin?
Yeah.
I can't remember, honestly.
We also have, I know Miranda Maverick has a fight already booked, but I know she's someone I'm sure people are really high on. Talia Santos. I know Jillian Robertson is coming off an L. Oh no, she's matched
Robertson has a bad matchup too. She has a tough one. Oh no, she's fighting Maverick. That's just fighting Maverick. Robertson.
Yeah. Maybe they'll lose her that fight, so I don't know. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, it depends what the UFC wants to do with Roxy. Like you could put Roxy versus Victoria Leonardo, who lost tonight. If it depends who the promoters want. But the answer to Sandy Pham's question, retirement should not be in the talks unless for Roxy herself feels like she can never be the best flyweight in the world now. Because some fighters, they're fighting because they like it, the paychecks are nice. But for some fighters, once they decide I will never be the best in the world, that's enough for them to retire. So it's on Roxy, but she's clearly still good enough to fight in the UFC.
What about what if you do like Roxanne Modafferi versus Montana De La Rosa or somebody like that?
Those are all good too.
Yeah, I think that's a fine fight.
Yeah.
The Courtney Caseys of the world.
Yeah.
I like those fights.
Yeah.
Throw them in event. You got to be careful though, because Roxanne, although Viviani did her job and she looked great, and she's kind of you just see that she's a future title contender, or at least on the verge of that throughout her last several fights. But look what they did with Macy Barber. Like, all the hype was behind Macy. Roxanne shut that down. Then they did the same thing with Antonina Shevchenko. Threw her in there, massive underdog. She gets the win. So you got to be careful. Like, you can't just you got to be careful when it comes down to how you matchmake. Like, if there's a woman that's won like 3 fights in a row, like Araujo, something like that, throw in there. But a woman who has like a win or making her debut, don't throw up against Roxy, because that's just not going to work. It's not going to work.
I know what happened, but man, I would love to see Roxy versus Macy Barber again in a rematch. I know it won't happen, but I just think just storyline wise, it'll be really cool. And Macy's someone, maybe because she was kind of complaining about that fight, saying basically not saying it out loud, but we kind of got the impression that she thinks that Roxy got lucky. So let's run it back. I don't know.
That would sell.
I was doing just for the sell, and then because the UFC loved Macy Barber before she got her knee injury, so
she has a tough fight.
Huh?
Fighting Grasso, isn't she? That's a tough fight.
Oh, is she booked against Grasso? Is that Wednesday?
Yep.
So.
February 13th, UFC 258.
That's a tough fight.
Never mind then. Oh man, they brought Macy back. Oh God, never mind. Jeez, ouch. Wow. Okay. Man, I feel bad for
That's a scrap.
Yeah. Jeez, Macy Barber didn't come back to anything. She came back to maybe
a tougher fight.
Possibly, because I think Grasso, when she kind of fulfills her full potential, and now that she's committed to 25, I think Alexa Grasso could be really good. She is already good now, but I think she could be better. Yeah, at 25.
These two, like that scrap against Carolina and that scrap against Carla are fun fights.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So I'm still super high on Alexa Grasso.
And now she's at a better weight class.
Yeah, because people forget how young. Well, how young she is, and she just like I saw Grasso's like first or second fight in Invicta. So
Chiesa here.
All right.
The Maverick, 4th consecutive victory since making the move up to 170 pounds, gets the win over Neil Magny, dominating in decision. Let's hear from the Maverick right now.
Oh. Man, UFC main event victories don't come easy, right? So what's the feeling like for you right now?
It's surreal, man. I've always been vocal since I got into the UFC that my goal is to become a world champion. And I think the key is really setting the small goals along the way. And, that 4-fight win streak in the UFC has eluded me for a while, and being able to achieve that goal tonight, getting my rematch with the main event and getting a fair shake on the officiating standpoint. Shout out to Mark Goddard. Winning my first main event. It's just it's achieving these small goals along the way to get to the ultimate prize. And this wouldn't be possible without my teammates, without my coaches. That was a tough fight, man. Neil's as tough as they come. That guy can beat anybody on any given day against anybody in the division. So I'm very happy with how tonight went.
I was going to say, I mean, you look at the win streak you have, like maybe some bigger names before, right? But I mean, Neil, as you said, as tough as they come. So personally, where does this victory rank for you?
This is the biggest win to me for sure. Neil and I, we've kind of been talking about fighting each other for a while. I called him out after I fought Carlos Condit. He called me out after he fought Leach. So we've been kind of eyeing each other for a while. And when I got cleared to come back, I've been eyeing a guy in the top 5 since I beat RDA. and then I had surgery and the pandemic hits. And so I had a long layoff. And once I was cleared to go back, this was the best. This was the highest ranked, most available guy. And it was the fight that made the most sense. And, and outside of that, I just knew Neil's that's a tough test for me. I mean, that's a legit welterweight. That guy was on the cusp of becoming the all-time wins leader had he beat me tonight, beating George St. Pierre, so he's as game as they come. And I'm very happy with how things went. And, the short notice main event, I didn't even really think about it. I was at the Holiday and I forget which reporter asked me, they're like, are you worried about stepping into a main event after a year layoff? I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that. And I'm glad I didn't, so I think that just shows that I have a lot I can build off of right now. And the key is to stay active. I'm going to get home, take a little bit of time off, get some snowboarding in, get some training in. That's going to, structurally, I'm very sound. For now, I don't feel like I have anything going on. A little something in my eye, but that's about it. But the key is to stay active, and I want to get myself into some big fights this year.
I know, finishes are always valuable, but I mean, is there some value as well in going 25 minutes and kind of knowing what that feels like?
Hey, my priority is always to finish, but how easy is it to finish Neil Magny? It's not easy at all. I mean, you saw what Hector Lombard did to him, and he came back and finished him. You know what I mean? So I always want to get finishes, but you can't expect that as you're getting closer to the top of the heap, and especially 170 pounds. I mean, it's stacked. But I have a lot of improvements I can make. This is my first fight in a year. I showed I can push for 5 rounds, and these guys should be worried. The next time you see me this year, I'm going to be a totally different guy, be a totally different fighter, and I'm going to prove I can be the best. I'm going to prove that I belong to being a number 1 contender fight before the end of the year. I think tonight I showed I can. I think pushing through 5 rounds, that's a key to show. Like, you can't clamor being a champion in the UFC if you can't fight for 5 rounds. So my focus was winning, but I set the expectation for myself. Like, it's almost like Rocky 1. Like, I just want to go the distance. I just kept telling myself, like, I want to finish this guy, but if I come up short and I lose, I at least want to go the distance to know that I can go 25 minutes in a fist fight. So I'm just glad I was on the losing end of that.
For me, like you said, I mean, you're going to have some big fights lined up on the horizon for sure, but you had the call out ready as well. Why is that the fight to make?
Because he's the toughest match for me. Stylistically, stylistically, that guy should beat me on any given Sunday. From a physical standpoint, from the mental warfare standpoint, there's not a lot of boxes you can check that favor me in that fight. But how can I say I want to be a champion if I don't want to fight these guys? And sometimes the best guys are the ones that are the toughest for you stylistically. So when I look at the top 5, I think that's the hardest fight for me. So, we'll see what happens. And if I come up short, I come up short. But I want the best, so I got to fight the best. So that's the guy. And I think that with me saying that I want to have the year I was supposed to have last year, and fitting. But stay active, so we'll see what happens. Law and order, baby.
Great. You mentioned you and Neil have been sizing each other up for a while now, so you've obviously been thinking about the guy for so long. So after spending 25 minutes in there with him, did anything catch you off guard that he showed up with?
He's got a good flying knee. No, I kind of knew what to expect from Neil. Anything can happen in a fight. Anything. You got to expect the unexpected. But this is when I say being an analyst and being in broadcasting comes into your favor as a competitor, because I know what to expect against any guy I'm going to compete against. I have to break these guys down in a different way. You know what I mean? I spent the bulk of my career, breaking guys down from a standpoint as like me competing against them. Whereas now as a broadcaster, being an analyst, I break these guys down, taking myself out of the equation. So it opens up my eyes to seeing their strengths and their weaknesses a lot more. And then when it comes down to me competing against them and I plug myself into the equation again, I think it makes it easier for me to know every single thing I can possibly expect getting into these fights. So there's nothing Neil did to surprise me, but that doesn't mean it wasn't hard to deal with. I mean, that guy pushed me to my limits tonight. That was a tough 4th round. You know what I mean? That 4th round was pretty challenging. And I think I got to go back and watch the fight, but I'm pretty sure that you can see I was getting fatigued and there's nothing that surprised me, but that doesn't mean just because I wasn't surprised that it wasn't hard to deal with.
Well, that kind of goes into my next question. After you said 1 year off, main event, like injury and all that, did those last 2 rounds kind of catch up to you at one point?
I think that a little more notice. I think maybe it wouldn't have been much of an issue, but my coach said it best. That 5th round was mental. I was getting pretty toasted after that 4th round, and when I sat on the stool going into the 5th, he's like, "Hey, this is all in your head. Fight with your heart. Go out if you want to be a fucking champion." And he literally says, "If you want to be a fucking champion, you got to go win this round." And I'm like, you know what I mean? At some point, you get like it's not even the 2nd or 3rd win. You just go, and you go until you die. You know what I mean? And I was ready to do that. I was ready to push through that 5th round until literally, if I just would have croaked and died in the octagon, so be it. But I wasn't about to lose to fatigue in that 5th round. So I think more of a notice, and I could have been a little more prepared for those championship rounds. But that's all the more reason to be proud of myself. A year layoff, jumping into a main event against a cardio machine. I'm happy.
And finally, they also confirmed Usman Burns during the broadcast. What do you think about that fight?
Love it. Everybody knows I'm a Burns fan. You know what I mean? I'm a grappler. I love jiu-jitsu. Burns is a cool guy, man. Him and I, we've always had some good interactions. And dude, that guy's like the ultimate threat. He can knock you out. He can submit you. And if you even go back and watch his gi jiu-jitsu matches, his style is violent. He's a very violent man. And Usman's on the cusp of becoming, arguably the most dominant welterweight champion we've ever seen if he beats Burns. So, I mean, that's a perfect championship title fight. I'll be watching very attentively. There's some big fights coming up at welterweight. I'm going to enjoy this win. I'm going to get in the booth. I'm going to get back to being an analyst, but I'm going to stay active, man. I think 2021 is going to be my year. Boom.
Mike, here to your left.
To the left.
Right.
Hey, Mike. What's up?
You said, it was going to be tough to make it pretty against Neil. Do you think there's anything more you could have done in that sense, or do you think you kind of hit the peak on that side?
I'm not disappointed I didn't get a finish, but I mean, it always feels good when you finish a guy. But like I said, man, I'm very proud of myself to go 5-minute rounds. That's a feat in itself, man. And to do it after a year layoff and a short notice main event, the way we train at home is very smart. My head coach, Rick Little, he doesn't let me, kind of touching on that note that Max Holloway talked about when it comes to sparring and whatnot. Like, we don't do any unnecessary contact in our gym. So if you have a 3-round fight, you're only sparring 3 rounds. And sometimes if the intensity is getting high, you're only sparring for short rounds. We're big on preservation of the body. You know what I mean? So on that note, I think that if I had a longer notice, we could have been more conditioned for the championship rounds. But the way we prepare, we're not going to take any unnecessary damage in the gym. I know a lot of guys are like, every day I spar, I'm going 5-minute rounds. It's like, if you don't have a 5-round fight, what's the point? You know what I mean? Only do when it comes to preparation, don't take any unnecessary damage in the gym. So a little longer notice for a main event. I think I could have been more conditioned for those extra rounds. But I mean, who knows? I mean, this is Neil Magny we're talking about. This is a guy that is known for his cardio, trains at elevation, and has a penchant for being able to push a pace for whether it's 3 rounds or 5 rounds. I mean, the guy's a cardio machine, so maybe it would have made a difference, maybe not. Either way, I'm just happy I won.
And last thing, we know Colby Covington is trying to fight Jorge Masvidal. If this press conference comes across his desk, why should he fight you instead?
Because I'm asking. I mean, not a lot of guys are asking to fight Colby Covington. I think the only guys I can think of is like me and Bilal Muhammad and Burns. Burns asked to fight him. But we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? I just think I literally, that was a shot from the hip. I did not, usually going into a fight, I'm always kind of like thinking about who I'm going to call out next and kind of having that idea in my head. But this fight, it was a clean slate. And I don't know, it just jumped in my head. It's inauguration day. I don't know, man, maybe I should be a pro wrestler or something. That was totally from the hip. That shot from the hip, so we'll see what happens, man. If it's the Jorge Masvidal fight, more power to him. That's a big fight. They probably do the Ultimate Fighter or something. We'll see what happens, man. But you got to shoot your shot in this sport. I try to tell these young guys all the time, man. Like, when you win a fight, that is your golden opportunity. is that 1 minute you have after you win a fight. Capitalize on it. Shoot your shot. See what happens.
Mr. Chiesa, to your right.
Schmo.
I feel
Hey,
like
timeout. Schmo got his butt whomped on in Mario Kart. Just for the record, put that in the headlines.
that was the confidence you needed to get the victory. We let you win. Next time, M64. But I feel like you jinxed yourself for this fight. You said that you were going to come away maybe with a black eye for those wedding photos, and I think you're going to have a black eye.
I know. I did, man. I think it was like I don't know. I manifested it, but yeah, get the engagement photos done on the first, and hopefully I got a couple stitches. I think I need a little stitch or two in here. I got like this funny spot in here or whatever, but yeah, I got my black eye, man. I earned it, earned in blood.
What was the turning point for you in this fight when you realized that you were going to get the victory because you were getting the best of him during those grappling exchanges?
I knew, the first round went good. It's true. When you get in these 5-round fights, you just kind of like, you go into a different time space. Like I just kind of like everything kind of started to blend together, but I do know that was a tough 4th round for me. I was able to push a pace for the first 3. And I don't know if it was the 4th round when he kind of had my back, and I kind of had to hit some weird scrambles. And I remember getting caught in that inverted triangle, and your mind plays tricks on you when you're in there. Fatigue's a hell of a demon. It can really send some messages to you and talk to you. And me and Fatigue were having a conversation, but I hit that stool in round 5, and my coach Rick Little just like, dude, he spit some hot fire to get me off that stool and push through that 5th round. So I feel like there was a little bit of a momentum shift for Neil in the 4th, but I was ready to die in that 5th round. I was ready to push myself to my limits, and I did just that. And I'm very happy with how things went.
And lastly, how quickly will we see you back at the analyst desk?
March 13th. I'm going to call the Hamza Chimaev Leon Edwards fight. For now, if something comes up sooner, I'll take it. But for now, it's March 13th. And I enjoy doing that a lot. And I proved tonight. I know that there was a lot of people out there saying that, I know Neil had said something. I know it's like build up for the fight, saying like, I'm going to make him question being a fighter and make him want to be just an analyst and whatever. You know what I mean? He's just, that's just the build up for a fight. But I know outside of that, there's a lot of people saying that like us guys that are, competitors as well as working in broadcasting, we're it's a bad mix. And it's like, I want to tell those people to screw off. You know what I mean? It's good for me. It's good for my career. It's good for me as a competitor. So I'll work the desk as many times as I can before I get booked for a fight. July at the earliest is when you'll see me competing again. But between now and between July, I'm going to be working behind the desk a lot.
Enjoy the slopes.
Thank you, Schmo.
Congratulations, Mike.
I was waiting for my man. What's up?
What's up, man? Now the fight's over, I'm curious to know how fight week was for you and if you had any challenges with the setup out here.
No, I love Abu Dhabi. I literally, in 12 months, I've spent like a month and a half, almost 2 months out here. After I beat RDA, my teammate Austin Arnett, he fought on UAE Warriors out here. And that was before the pandemic. So I was out here for like a week and some change. And then I was out here for, 3.5 weeks for the second Fight Island stint. And then, it was that window that I was here that I was like, I want to fight out here. I love the setup. I've never fought internationally. Everybody at the W Hotel is so accommodating. Like it's unreal. Like whatever you need, they'll take care of you. And as well as the UFC. I mean, they made this, it didn't feel like an international fight. I think everybody felt like this is like a neutral ground, and that's always great, but no challenges. The UFC's, dude, they're the best. They're the best sports organization in the world. I'm not just saying that being a company man. I'm just saying it because look at what they've done in the last year. They made it possible for us all to maintain our jobs as journalists, as competitors, as the UFC staff, everybody. So it was smooth sailing all fight week, very accommodating. But as much as I love Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, I'm ready to get back to the mountains of Spokane, Washington.
Nice. What are you doing tonight to celebrate?
Batten down the hatches, ladies and gentlemen. Let's party.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you, bud. Peace out, y'all.
All right, there he is, the big winner, Michael Chiesa, 4th win in a row at 170 pounds. Called out Colby Covington. We will see what happens. I would say unlikely, but like he said, if you don't call your shot, you can't get what you want. So that's what he did, and we shall see what happens. As we will move ahead to a new stream, we're going to get ready for the post-fight show. The great Prince of Positivity, Alex K. Lee, will join us on the other side of that. Jose, I don't know if you're still there, but any final words? I think he said it. Said it best for all of us.
Can you guys
There he is.
hear me?
What's up, buddy? Yes.
Yeah, great fights. Great fights. Case looked awesome. Beating Magny is not easy whatsoever. So, welterweight has a legitimate contender on their hands right now. He's definitely not standing right there, so I'm not going to say it, but don't think he's going to get the fight he wants, but still a tough fight.
It's a fight. It's a fight. Thank you, Jose, for your great coverage as always. I know your week is not even close to being done with UFC 257 on the horizons, but we will let you go and get some rest, my man. We will see you on the other side. Myself, Casey, Alex K. Lee, all your questions, thoughts, comments, etc. So we'll see you on the other side. Thanks for watching, everybody.